At 75 years old, the man with the most recognizable jawline in the history of the American West is sitting on a porch in Montana, watching the sun dip below the jagged peaks of the Madison River Valley. For over 6 decades, the world has known him as the ultimate cinematic chameleon, the Disney child star who grew up to become the eye-patch-wearing anti-hero of a dystopian New York, the Wyatt Earp of a generation, and the father of a literal Marvel galaxy. He has generated billions of dollars for studios, survived the brutal transition from child actor to leading man, and maintained a partnership with Goldie Hawn that has outlasted almost every legal marriage in Hollywood history. But 40 years ago, at the absolute summit of his power, Kurt Russell made a choice that every agent, manager, and studio head in Los Angeles told him would be professional suicide. He didn't just turn down a script, he turned down a zip code. He packed his bags, left the blinding lights of Hollywood behind, and moved his family to a remote ranch in Old Snowmass, Colorado. The industry warned him that visibility was the only currency that mattered. They told him that if he wasn't at the parties, he wasn't in the conversation. They promised him that the moment he stepped off the grid, the roles would dry up and the phone would stop ringing. But Kurt Russell didn't listen. Today, as he prepares to lead Taylor Sheridan's newest epic, The Madison, he isn't just a survivor. He is the victor of a 40-year psychological war against the Hollywood machine. He didn't just save his career by leaving, he saved his soul. He didn't run away to hide. He ran away to live. To understand the absolute gravity of the choice Kurt Russell made in the 1980s, you have to understand the institutional machine that tried to own him from the moment he could walk. Kurt Vogel Russell was born into the business, but not into its luxury. His father, Bing Russell, was the quintessential character actor, the man who played Deputy Clem for years on Bonanza. Performance wasn't a dream in the Russell household. It was a blue-collar trade like plumbing or electrical work. You showed up, you hit your marks, and you brought home a paycheck. By the age of 11, Kurt was already on screen, famously kicking Elvis Presley in the shin, and it happened at the World's Fair. But the true institutional wound began in 1966. At just 15 years old, Kurt Russell was summoned to the office of Walt Disney himself. The legendary creator saw something in the boy, a rare combination of masculine discipline and a smile that felt like a warm American afternoon. Disney didn't just hire him, he institutionalized him. Russell signed a formal ironclad 10-year contract with the Walt Disney Company, effectively becoming the studio's primary human asset through the late 60s and early 70s. For a decade, his life was scheduled in increments of 60-minute television specials and Dexter Riley science comedies. He was the face of the computer wore tennis shoes and the strongest man in the world. While his peers were experimenting with the counterculture of the 70s, Kurt Russell was locked inside a pristine G-rated cinematic cage. He was a prince of the mouse house, but every prince is ultimately a prisoner of the palace. The industry assumed he would end up like every other child star, discarded and irrelevant by the age of 25. But Kurt Russell had a secret weapon. He didn't actually care about being a movie star. His real heart was on the diamond. While he was filming Disney hits, he was simultaneously climbing the ranks of professional baseball. He reached the AA level with the El Paso Sun Kings in 1973, playing second base with a terrifyingly high batting average. He was a professional athlete who happened to act on the side. But in the summer of 1973, during a routine double play, a violent collision tore his rotator cuff. In a single, sickening pop, his primary dream was dead. Acting was no longer a side hustle. It was the only road left. Most men would have collapsed under that kind of heartbreak. Kurt Russell used it to harden his resolve. He didn't just return to acting. He decided to kill the Disney kid once and for all. The transformation began in 1979 when he met the man who would help him dismantle his own wholesome image, John Carpenter. Their collaboration on the television film Elvis earned Russell an Emmy nomination and proved to the industry that the kid from the computer wore tennis shoes, possessed a terrifying emotional range. But it was 1981's Escape from New York that officially executed the Disney prince. as Snake Plissken, a stoic, eye-patched criminal forced into a dystopian Manhattan. Russell reinvented the American action hero. He didn't use a billion-dollar budget or a clean-cut moral compass. He used silence and menace. The early 80s was a period of the golden illusion. Russell was finally being accepted as a serious, gritty leading man. The Thing followed in 1982, a masterpiece of Antarctic paranoia that today is considered one of the greatest horror films ever made. But at the time, it was a commercial failure crushed at the box office by the sentimental warmth of Spielberg's E.T. It was the first vessel of doubt in Russell's professional life. He was delivering the best work of his career, and the industry was rewarding him with lukewarm box office numbers and relentless pressure to conform. He realized that the Hollywood cycle was a treadmill that never stopped moving, and if he didn't step off soon, he would be ground into dust. By 1983, he had met Goldie Hawn on the set of Swing Shift. Together, they made a decision that the Hollywood establishment viewed as a declaration of war. They decided that Los Angeles was a toxic environment for a real family. They didn't just want a vacation home, they wanted a life. They selected a ranch in Old Snowmass, Colorado, a place where the nearest neighbor was a mountain and the nearest paparazzi was 1,500 miles away. Every agent in town delivered the same sharp, cold warning. If you leave, you're done. They told him that in the 1980s, visibility was the only way to maintain a career. If he wasn't at the Polo Lounge, he wasn't in the script. Kurt Russell's shattering was his move to Colorado. He essentially told the most powerful industry on earth that he didn't need them to define his reality. He chose the smell of horses and the sight of the Rockies over the smog of the 405. He traded the networking parties for the grueling physical labor of ranch life. It was a slap to the face of Hollywood tradition. For 40 years, he lived a double life. He would fly into a set, deliver a masterclass in performance, and then vanish back to the mountains before the rap party even started. He didn't just prove them wrong, he made them look foolish. The numbers of his Colorado era are staggering, a direct contradiction to the warnings of his peers. While living on a ranch, he delivered Big Trouble in Little China, Tombstone, Stargate, Backdraft, and Breakdown. He didn't need to live in a Beverly Hills mansion to negotiate a $20 million paycheck. He proved that excellence is a portable commodity. When Taylor Sheridan, the king of the modern neo-Western, went looking for a patriarch for his newest massive franchise, The Madison, he didn't look for a man who spent 40 years in a Los Angeles gym. He looked for a man who had actually spent 40 years on a ranch. He looked for Kurt Russell. In 2026, Kurt Russell is 75 years old, and he is the living definition of a man who got it right. He stands as a strike against the child star curse. He and Goldie Hawn have navigated 43 years of partnership without ever feeling the need to involve a lawyer or a marriage license, proving that commitment is a daily choice, not a legal document. His son, Wyatt Russell, didn't just follow in his footsteps. He followed his father to the mountains. Wyatt and his family now live on the same Colorado land, extending the Russell legacy into a new generation of ranchers and actors. The philosophy of Kurt Russell, at 75, is one of absolute, unvarnished directness. He recently noted that the people in Old Snowmass live there because they want to, and he could never say the same thing about the people in Los Angeles. It is a sharp psychological punchline to a 60-year career. He spent 10 years as a Disney property, 5 years as a professional athlete, and 40 years as a Hollywood outsider. And in the end, the industry came to him. From his role in Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, where he shared the screen with his son, to his upcoming lead in The Madison, he's working more than actors half his age. But he isn't working because he needs the fame. He isn't working because he needs to prove he's still relevant. He is working because the work is a trade he still enjoys, and the mountains will still be there when the cameras stop rolling. He didn't sacrifice his life for a career. Ong didn't let the golden illusion of fame blind him to the reality of the American landscape. He built a fortress of privacy, and in doing so, he became one of the few men in Hollywood who is truly free. Kurt Russell's story is a commercial cinematic masterclass in the power of no. He said no to the studio system. He said no to the geographical demands of the industry. He said no to the expected trajectory of a child star, and by saying no to the noise, he allowed the world to finally hear his true voice. He didn't outrun Hollywood, he outlived its expectations. As we analyze the incredible 60-year endurance of this American icon, we are forced to look at our own lives and the zip codes we think we need to inhabit to be successful. Beyond the Snake Plissken eye patch and the Wyatt Earp mustache, which of Kurt Russell's legendary gritty roles has accompanied your own journey through the decades and, more importantly, in a world that demands you be constantly visible to be valued. Do you have the courage to build your own Colorado and trust that the world will eventually come to find you? Leave your most honest thoughts in the comments below. Tell us your favorite Kurt Russell memory and let us know if you think the Colorado choice was the bravest move of his career. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to ensure you never miss a deep dive into the real stories behind the Hollywood legends. We'll see you in the next one.